Rosie, I'm going to make a savoury tart, and usually when I make this tart, I would use a short crust base. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to use Fillo pastry. Easy to use, quick and fast, and it's all about the pastry. But the filling is important as well.
So
now, what I've got over here, I've got some onions and some garlic that are already been sautéed off. And you can see I've caramelised them. And when you walked in...
You've done that for quite a while, haven't you? Caramelised them, yeah.
When you walked in, you could smell them, can't you?
That's the best.
And there's nothing better than caramelised onion and garlic together. And what I do is I grab this butter here as well and melt it, because that's what we're going to use with the Fillo pastry to brush it. So I cut off a nice piece of butter and pop it into my pot over here, and that will melt down nicely. Crack 3 eggs into the bowl here, whisk them up with a fork, and then put those little 2 tubs of sour cream in there. That's going to be the binder that holds it all together. In the meantime, I've got this lovely bacon here. You can use salami bacon, whatever meat you want, but for me, the shortcut bacon is one of the best. It's got the loin here.
I could make this vegetarian, couldn't I?
You could make this vegetarian, no problem at all. But I like the shortcut bacon. It's mostly meat in there. There's a little bit of fat, and it's the best part of the bacon. Now, what I'm going to do, Rosie, is cut it nice and fine like this, so it goes all the way through my lovely tart. That's it, you're whisking that up beautifully. Now, what I want you to do is add the cream to it and give that a little bit of a stir around so it goes together.
No problem.
What I've got here, Rosie, is some spinach. What I've done is wilted it down very slowly, and then what I'm going to do is chop it up. But one of the things when you are blanching spinach like this is to actually squeeze it really well. You want to make sure you get all the moisture out of it.
Yeah, it does take in all that moisture, doesn't it?
Put a little bit of salt in there because we need some flavour, and the salt brings out the flavour beautifully. And I've also got some olives. I've got some beautiful olives. I'm going to put them into the jar here. The trick with the olives, if you're going to use them in a dish like this, is just drain off the liquid that's in the olives, the brine, because you don't want to have too much water in there.
It's very powerful, that brine.
I'm going to sneak this other one in there because we want plenty of cream in there. Sour cream is just gorgeous. Now, if you don't have sour cream, you could use regular cream if you want. You can even use a little bit of milk. You've whisked all the little lumps out of that. It's perfect. Now, I'm going to put the bacon in there, and I'm going to get you to chop some herbs. I've got some chives there and some parsley, and I'll just throw that in there. I've got the spinach that goes in there as well, and I'll put the olives in here. Now, I'll just add in the onion and garlic that's been caramelised beautifully and stir that in.
Lovely.
Get the Fillo pastry out, and I'll take it out of the packet. The trick when you're using Fillo pastry is to let it come out of the fridge and let it come up to room temperature. It's a whole lot easier to use if it's nice and soft like this. So I unwrap the Fillo pastry like this, and I like to use the thick Fillo pastry. Now it's time to bring it all together. So I've got my pastry brush here and the butter. I always brush around the tart shell like this to make sure that I get plenty of butter around it. The butter is what fries the pastry and makes it nice and crisp.
I see a theme happening throughout this.
Yes.
Butter.
Exactly. Butter is what makes it delicious. Now, make sure I brush it with plenty of butter on the outside here. This will stick to the outside. You just want to grab a few sheets and put them down and then make a sort of base. It looks a bit scruffy at the start, but once you've got a few layers...
Rustica. I prefer rustica, that's what it is. It's supposed to look like that.
We'll just fold it in on the inside once we've got our filling in there.
I love Fillo. It's so good, isn't it?
There we go. 2 sheets there, like that. If you like it really thick, use plenty of Fillo pastry sheets. About half a packet of Fillo pastry will make this nice and crispy on the outside. And then this bit here, I'm just going to roll this over and wrap it up in the packet. You should wrap it up in cling film and then the packet back in the fridge, and it's ready to use another time.
Doesn't like to be out, does it? There we go.
Exactly. Give that a good brush again. Make sure there's plenty of butter on it. And then what I'm going to do is spoon this mixture into my pastry there. Now, I'm going to get you to throw those herbs on top there. We'll just push it round to the side there. I'll grab those chives and sprinkle them on top. We'll put that on top later on.
Okay.
So I'll just spoon that around. Now, I've got some cheese there. If you can grab that cheese. And then what I'm going to do is just fold the outside of it.
Want to get going?
Cheese on top of it. Go crazy. This is the bit that neatens it all up. And it gives it a really fancy sort of feeling on the outside. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave all the Fillo pastry hanging over the sides. It looks really, really rustic. But you know me, I like to finish things off nicely.
This looks great. I was just thinking then, this looks great. And this has taken no time at all. It looks like a lot of slow love is put into it. But really... We've done it quite quickly, which is brilliant, isn't it?
Exactly. What I'm going to do is brush a little bit of butter on the outside. That's plenty of cheese on that, which is something you very rarely hear from me, isn't it? Sprinkle some sesame seeds just on the outside here, and these will colour up nicely as it bakes in the oven. Look at that. It's looking gorgeous,
it's the little things, isn't it? Lovely.
Now, what I'm going to do is pop this into the oven. The oven's preset at 190 degrees Celsius. It'll take about 20 to 25 minutes. You'll know it's cooked because it'll be set in the middle. We'll be able to take this out and hook into this beautiful tart. Now, Rosie, I've let my tart cool down a little bit.
Good,
and you can see it's sort of loose in there, it's coming around. Take it out of here like that.
I like this rustic border.
You like
Looks
it,
cool.
don't you?
Yeah, I love it.
That's why I like the Fillo pastry. It's so crumbly and crunchy. And I'll cut another piece like that. There we go. Oh, and pick that up onto the plate there.
There we go.
Slide that over to there. Now we can have a little
That's
taste.
a good size slice there as well, isn't it?
Now, I know it's got bacon in it. You can't eat that
Oh,
part
but I
of it.
wanna have a
so
little
I want
try
you to try the
this.
pastry because that's the most important thing. And I'm going to go straight into the centre there. Now, you know, a nutritionist like you would say that this is a great mixture of meat to vegetables. Lots of veggies in there.
There's so many layers of phyllo. I can hardly talk, but it's delicious. It feels a bit lighter. It's fabulous.
I love the spinach in there. It's really holding it together. I love the sour cream. You can taste that as well. You know, the pastry's on the bottom there, but it's a thin layer. It's mostly the veggies and the eggs and the cream.
It was so quick and it's just divine. You'll be happy with that.
And it's got bacon in it.